AITA for exposing my sister after she refused to return my wife's purse and son's bag. By the time this happened, I was 35, old enough to know my family's patterns and tired enough to stop pretending they were harmless. I'm David, the younger brother everyone expected to stay calm. The husband who kept telling my wife, Lauren, it'll be fine this time. And the dad who always packed extra wipes because our 4-year-old, Noah, had a talent for needing them at the worst possible moment. In my family, being calm didn't mean you were respected. It meant you were available to be used. My older sister, Monica, was 39 and had been going through a hard time for as long as I could remember. That was always the phrase. If Monica snapped at someone, she was overwhelmed. If she borrowed money and forgot to pay it back, she was under pressure. If she ruined a holiday by crying in the bathroom because the attention wasn't on her, we were told to be patient. My mother, Carol, called it compassion. My father, Richard, called it keeping the peace. What it really meant was that Monica could take up as much space as she wanted, and the rest of us were expected to fold ourselves smaller around her. I learned young that arguing with Monica only made me the problem. She could accuse me of being selfish, immature, cold, ungrateful, whatever word fit the day, and the second I defended myself, Mom would pull me aside and say, "David, please. You know how your sister gets." Dad's version was quieter. He would sigh, rub his forehead, and say, "Everybody needs to take a breath." But somehow, everybody always meant me. For years, I thought staying quiet made me mature. I loaned Monica money. I let her make little jokes at my expense. I let my parents guilt me into fixing things I didn't break. If Monica stormed out of dinner, I was the one told to text her. If Monica insulted me, I was told not to take it personally. If I ever said no, Mom acted like I had kicked a chair out from under someone who was already falling. Then I married Lauren. Lauren was 33, patient in a way I didn't deserve, and much better at spotting tension than I was willing to admit. In the beginning, she tried hard with my family. Too hard, honestly. She brought dessert to dinners. She remembered my mom's favorite candle scent. She asked Monica questions about her life, even when Monica answered like every word was an inconvenience. Monica didn't openly attack her at first. She started small. "Wow, you two are leaving already?" she'd say if Lauren reminded me we had plans the next morning. Or, "David never used to be this scheduled." Or, "Must be nice having someone reorganize your whole personality." Lauren would smile tightly and look at me. I'd give her the look that meant, "I know, I'm sorry, just a little longer." I hate that look now. At the time, I thought I was protecting the night from getting worse. Really, I was teaching my wife that her comfort came second to my family's mood. After Noah was born, Monica got worse. My parents adored him. They weren't perfect grandparents, but they loved him in that loud, slightly excessive way grandparents do. Mom kept a drawer of stickers for him. Dad bought little toy cars and pretended they were for when Noah came over, even though he played with them first. They asked for photos, celebrated every preschool milestone, and acted like a crooked crayon drawing belonged in a museum. Monica hated it. She never said, "I'm jealous of a child," because nobody says that out loud if they still want to look normal. Instead, she made everything about Lauren's rules. Is he allowed to eat that, or does Lauren need to approve it? Careful, Mom. You held him for 9 seconds too long. Everything revolves around bedtime now, apparently. At first, I answered like she was joking. "He's 4, Monica. He gets tired." She would roll her eyes. Kids survive being tired. Lauren never made unreasonable rules. Noah had a routine. He got cranky when he missed it. He had a couple of allergy-safe snacks we kept on hand because he had reacted badly to certain things when he was younger. He also had a small inhaler in his bag because, once in a while, his breathing got tight after running around too much in cold air. It wasn't dramatic. It was parenting. But to Monica, every normal boundary was proof that Lauren was controlling the family. I should have shut it down harder earlier. I know that now. Instead, I did what I had been trained to do. I redirected. I changed the subject. I told Lauren in the car, "She's just like that." One night after a dinner, Lauren sat in the passenger seat, quiet, with her hands folded around her phone. I asked, "You okay?" She looked out the windshield and said, "I don't want you to lose your family because of me." That sentence bothered me, but I didn't dig into it enough. I said, "You're not making me lose anybody." She nodded, but she didn't look convinced. Around that same time, my parents started acting strange. Mom would text me things like, "We miss Noah. Hope we get to see him soon," even when we had just visited the weekend before. Dad would say, "Your mother worries Lauren doesn't feel comfortable here," in a tone that suggested Lauren was choosing that discomfort on purpose. Then Monica started posting vague messages in the family group chat. Monica, funny how some people forget family once they get married. Carol, can everyone please calm down? Monica, I'm calm. I'm just the only one saying what everyone sees. I'd stare at my phone and feel that old pressure to smooth things over. Half the time I did. I would send something like, "Nobody is forgetting anyone. Let's not do this." Monica would respond with a thumbs-up emoji, which somehow felt more insulting than a paragraph. The Sunday dinner that blew everything apart was supposed to be simple. Noah had gotten a little certificate at school for being a kind helper. He was proud of it in the way only a 4-year-old can be proud, holding it with both hands like it was a legal document. My mom wanted to have a small dinner, take a few pictures, eat cupcakes, and let him show everyone the certificate before bedtime. Lauren asked me 3 times before we left, "How long are we staying?" "Not long," I said. "Dinner, cupcakes, pictures. We'll be out before he melts down." She packed Noah's bag by the front door before we left our place. Wipes, a change of clothes, his allergy-safe crackers, the inhaler, a small stuffed dinosaur he used when he got sleepy, pajamas, and the little bedtime book he had been obsessed with that month. Her purse had her keys, wallet, ID, and phone charger. Normal stuff. Important stuff. When we got to my parents' house, Mom had grocery store cupcakes on the counter with blue frosting that immediately stained Noah's mouth. Paper plates were stacked next to a bowl of chips. Dad was in the living room pretending not to smile while Noah showed him the certificate. Monica arrived 10 minutes after us. She walked in wearing sunglasses on top of her head, even though it was evening, gave Noah a quick, "Hey, buddy," and then looked at the cupcakes. "Wow," she said. "A whole celebration." Mom laughed nervously. "It's just cupcakes." Monica shrugged. "I didn't say it wasn't cute." Lauren glanced at me. I touched her back lightly, the same useless little signal I had been giving her for years. Dinner was fine for about 15 minutes. Noah sat next to me, swinging his legs and eating more bread than actual food. Lauren cut his chicken into pieces. Mom fussed over whether he wanted juice or water. Dad asked Noah what a kind helper does, and Noah said, "I help pick up blocks, but not the red ones because Mason licks them." Everyone laughed, even Monica. Then Mom asked Lauren if Noah's school had more events coming up. Lauren started to answer, and Monica set her fork down. "Do you need the schedule in writing before grandparents are allowed to know?" she said. The table got quiet. Lauren blinked. "What?" Monica smiled like she had only asked about the weather. "Nothing. You're just very organized about who gets access." I said, "Monica." She lifted both hands. "What? I'm allowed to have feelings." Mom jumped in with, "Let's just have a nice evening." That was Mom's favorite move. Toss a soft blanket over a grease fire and call it peace. For a few minutes, everyone pretended to eat. Then Noah asked if he could show Grandma the sticker sheet in his bag. Lauren said, "After cupcakes, okay? It's by the door." Monica leaned back in her chair. "Of course it is. The emergency command center." Lauren's face tightened. "It's his bag." "I know what it is," Monica said. "It's just funny. When we were kids, nobody dragged around a whole pharmacy and a rule book." I put my fork down. "Enough." Monica looked at me. David used to have his own opinions before he needed permission to visit his own parents. Dad said, "Everybody needs to take a breath." I looked at him. "I'm breathing fine." Lauren's voice was low. "David, it's okay." But it wasn't okay. It hadn't been okay for a long time, and I could feel something in me finally refusing to bend. After dinner, we moved to the living room for cupcakes. Noah sat on the rug with blue frosting on his fingers, making his little dinosaur stomp around on Dad's knee. Mom tried to take pictures. Lauren stood near the arm of the couch, ready to wipe Noah's hands before he touched the curtains. Monica watched all of it with a look I had seen before but never wanted to name. It wasn't sadness. It wasn't even anger. It was resentment. Mom said, "Noah, hold up your certificate for Aunt Monica too." Noah did, beaming. Monica barely looked. "Great job." Then she turned to Lauren. "I'm surprised you let him show us. Usually everything has to go through you." Lauren took a slow breath. "I'm not doing this tonight." "Oh, you're not doing this," Monica repeated. That's convenient. I stood up. Stop. She laughed once, sharp and humorless. No, David. Someone needs to say it. She uses him to control Mom and Dad. She decides when they see him, how they see him, what they're allowed to say, what they're allowed to feed him. And you just repeat whatever she tells you. Lauren went still. Noah looked up from the rug. Daddy. That was the moment I knew we were leaving. I picked Noah up and said, Don't use my son as a weapon because you're mad people care about him. Monica's face flushed. See? This is what I'm talking about. She taught you that. No, I said. Being a father taught me that. Lauren's voice shook. David, I just want to take Noah home. I nodded. We're going. Mom stood too fast, almost knocking over her cup. Please don't make this worse. I looked at her. Monica made it worse. Dad rubbed his jaw and stared at the floor. Lauren walked toward the entryway where we had left her purse and Noah's bag beside the small bench. I shifted Noah onto my hip and followed her. She stopped. The bags were gone. At first, I thought maybe Mom had moved them so nobody tripped. I looked under the bench, beside the coat closet, near the dining room chair where Noah had kicked off one shoe. Nothing. Lauren whispered, Where's my purse? I turned around. Monica was standing near the hallway that led to the spare bedroom, arms crossed, with the smallest, ugliest smile on her face. I asked, Where are the bags? She tilted her head. Maybe nobody should leave until we finish the conversation. My mother said, Monica, what did you do? Monica didn't answer her. She looked straight at Lauren. I put them somewhere safe until your wife stops performing. The room went silent except for Noah breathing against my shoulder. Lauren's eyes widened. My keys are in there. And Noah's stuff, I said. Monica shrugged. He'll survive without crackers for 5 minutes. I handed Noah to Lauren and stepped closer, keeping my voice low. Give me the bags, Monica. She lifted her chin. You can leave after she apologizes. For what? Lauren asked. For making this family hostage to her moods, Monica said. Maybe now she'll learn she doesn't run everything. I looked at my parents. I expected anger. I expected my father to move. I expected my mother to say Monica had crossed a line. Instead, Mom said, David, please don't make this ugly. I stared at her. She locked up my child's things, I said, and you're asking me to manage her feelings? Dad said, Monica, just open the door. After she apologizes, Monica said. Dad sighed like Monica had forgotten to take the trash out, not taken my wife's belongings and my son's medical bag. I felt the old version of myself trying to rise up, the version that would negotiate, soften my tone, say something careful so everyone could pretend this was a misunderstanding later. Then Noah rubbed his face against Lauren's shoulder and mumbled, I want my Dino. His dinosaur was in his bag, the one Monica had locked away. Something in me went cold. I didn't shout. I didn't move toward Monica. I pulled my phone from my pocket and turned on the voice recorder with my thumb while holding it low at my side. Then I said, clearly, So you're saying you locked my wife's purse and my son's bag in that room on purpose? Monica rolled her eyes. Oh my God, David. Answer me. I moved them, she said. Because this family never finishes a real conversation. Every time Lauren gets uncomfortable, she runs and takes Noah with her. So you took her purse and his bag to stop us from leaving. I put them in the spare room, Monica snapped. Stop making it sound criminal. Lauren whispered, David. I kept my eyes on Monica. Is the door locked? Monica looked away. I turned to my father. Is the door locked? Dad's face changed. That was when he finally understood this had become something he couldn't sigh away. Monica, he said, sharper this time. Open the door. Monica's voice cracked. I'm the only one brave enough to say what everyone sees, and now I'm the villain. You locked away my wife's purse and my son's bag, I said. You don't get to trap my wife and kid in a conversation by hiding their things. Mom put a hand over her mouth. No one is trapped. I looked at her. Lauren's keys, wallet, and ID are in that purse. Noah's inhaler is in that bag. His bedtime things are in that bag. His safe snacks are in that bag. What word would make you more comfortable? Mom's eyes filled with tears, but she still didn't answer. Monica said, This is exactly what I mean. Everything becomes a crisis with her. I pointed toward the hallway. You have 30 seconds to open that door before this becomes a bigger problem than Monica's feelings. Dad looked at me. What does that mean? It means I'll call someone to open it. And if I have to call the police because Monica won't return my wife's belongings and my son's medical bag, I will. Monica gasped. You would call the police on your own sister? I'm asking for the bags. Mom started crying softly. David, please. No, Mom. This is not a misunderstanding. Dad finally moved. He went to the kitchen drawer where they kept spare keys and came back with a small ring in his hand. Monica followed him down the hallway, saying, So now everyone is scared of David because Lauren trained him to act like this. I stayed where I was. I took a photo of the hallway and the closed spare bedroom door while she was still talking. Then I took another after Dad unlocked it and brought out Lauren's purse and Noah's bag. Lauren checked the bag with shaking hands. The inhaler was still there. The stuffed dinosaur was still there. Her purse looked untouched, but she held it close like it had been dragged through mud. Noah reached for his dinosaur and buried his face in it. Monica stood in the hallway with her arms crossed. Happy now. I said, Do not contact Lauren again. Any conversation goes through me. She laughed. Wow. So she really does speak through you now. I didn't answer. Mom followed us to the door, crying harder. Can we just talk tomorrow? Please don't leave like this. I said, We're leaving because this is exactly what you let happen. Dad said nothing. The drive home was quiet for the first 10 minutes. Noah fell asleep almost immediately, dinosaur tucked under his chin, blue frosting still faintly staining the corner of his mouth. Lauren sat beside me with her purse in her lap and one hand over it, like she was afraid someone might take it again. At a red light, I said, I'm sorry. She shook her head. No, I said. I mean it. I kept saying it would be fine. I kept asking you to walk into rooms where she was waiting to hurt you. Lauren wiped under her eye. I didn't want you to hate your sister because of me. I glanced at her. Because of you? She looked down at her phone. There's something I didn't tell you. My stomach sank. When we got home, I carried Noah inside and put him to bed while Lauren stood in the hallway with her phone clutched in both hands. Noah was half asleep but still mumbled, Grandma cupcakes, like none of the rest of it had landed in a way he could name. After his door clicked shut, Lauren sat at the kitchen table. She looked exhausted, not just from that night, but from months of swallowing things I hadn't even known were being fed to her. She unlocked her phone and pushed it across the table. Please read from March, she said. I sat down. The messages were from Monica. At first, they looked like ordinary passive-aggressive nonsense. Monica, Mom was hurt today. She won't say it because she's too nice. Monica, David used to be close with us. I hope you understand what you're doing. Monica, everyone notices the rules. Nobody wants to fight you because then you'll keep Noah away. I scrolled, and the air seemed to leave the room. Monica, you should know David was overwhelmed after Noah was born. He said things were hard. He needed space. I'm not trying to hurt you, but don't act like your marriage has always been perfect. Monica, Mom and Dad don't dislike you. They just don't know how to say they miss the old David. Monica, if you come over and make it all about schedules, don't bring Noah. Everyone is tired of walking on eggshells. Monica, you need to know your place. You married into this family. You don't get to rebuild it around yourself. I looked up. Lauren was staring at the table. She said I wanted a divorce? I asked. Lauren swallowed. She said you talked about leaving after Noah was born. She said you didn't because you didn't want to look bad. I felt sick. I had struggled after Noah was born, like a lot of new parents do. I was tired. Lauren was tired. We argued about dumb things because we were both running on no sleep and fear. I had once told Monica, during a low moment, that I felt like I was failing at everything. I never said I wanted a divorce. I never even thought it. Monica had taken one vulnerable sentence from years earlier and sharpened it into a knife. Lauren said, I didn't believe all of it. But when your mom would seem distant or your dad would make comments about not seeing Noah enough, I thought maybe they really did resent me. I kept scrolling. Monica, Mom cried after you left early. Just so you know. Monica, Richard thinks David lets you decide everything. I'm not supposed to tell you. Monica, if you cared about this family, you'd encourage him to come alone sometimes. Monica, don't make him choose. You won't like what happens. My hands were shaking now. Why didn't you show me? I asked. I meant it gently, but the question came out rough. Lauren's eyes filled. Because I kept thinking if I ignored her, she'd stop. And because every time something happened, your mom would ask you to smooth it over. I didn't want to be the reason you finally broke with them. I leaned back in the chair and pressed my fingers against my eyes. I'm the reason, I said. No. Yes. I kept making you absorb it quietly because I didn't want to deal with what I already knew. Lauren started crying then, not loudly. Just a tired, defeated kind of crying that made me angrier than Monica's yelling ever could. I handed her phone back and said, "Send me everything." She hesitated. "I'm not going to blow up tonight," I said. "I'm going to be careful." She nodded. I did not text the family group chat that night. Monica sent plenty. Monica, funny how some people can ruin a night and still act like victims. Carol, please, everyone, let's sleep on this. Monica, I'm done being silenced. Then, privately, Mom texted me. Carol, can you just smooth this over tomorrow? Your sister is devastated. I stared at the message until the words blurred. Lauren's purse had been taken. Noah's bag had been locked away. My son had been used as a bargaining chip. And my mother's first instinct was still to ask me to smooth it over. I typed one sentence. David, we need to talk in person. I'm bringing proof. Then I put my phone face down. The next few days were not dramatic from the outside. I went to the store. I made Noah breakfast. I read the same dinosaur books 6 times because he kept correcting me when I changed voices. Lauren and I moved through the house carefully, like we were both bruised. But every night after Noah was asleep, I built a folder. I saved screenshots with dates visible. I exported Lauren's message thread with Monica. I backed up the audio recording from the hallway in 3 places. I printed the messages where Monica told Lauren not to bring Noah around if she was going to act like that. Then I printed messages from the family group chat on the same dates where Monica told Mom and Dad we were withholding him. The pattern was so clear it made me cold. To Lauren, Monica wrote, "Everyone is tired of your rules. Don't bring him if you're going to make it miserable." To the group chat 2 hours later, she wrote, "Sad how Mom and Dad barely get to see Noah anymore. But I guess some people need control." To Lauren, "David needs time with his real family without you hovering." To Mom, "Lauren gets upset if David comes here alone. I'm worried about him." To Lauren, "Mom doesn't want conflict, but she feels judged by you." To Mom, "Lauren thinks you're unsafe with Noah. I didn't want to say anything, but you deserve to know." She wasn't caught in the middle. She built the middle and stood in it. Then I pulled up old payment records. Monica had borrowed money from me 3 different times in the past 2 years. The last time, she said it was for car repairs. I had sent it even after telling myself I wouldn't do that anymore. She never paid it back. My parents had been giving her temporary help for years. A supplemental card for groceries and gas. A few monthly bills covered when she was between things. Random transfers when she had a crisis. Dad pretended it wasn't much. Mom acted like it was the only thing keeping Monica stable. I had never seen the statements, obviously, but I had plenty of texts from Monica bragging in sloppy ways when she got comfortable. Monica, they'll never cut me off. Mom would feel too guilty. Monica, Dad complains, but he always pays it. Monica, David thinks saying no makes him strong. Cute. One message to me from months earlier stood out. Monica, must be nice to have a wife who decides your money belongs to your kid now. I had ignored that at the time. Now I printed it too. Lauren didn't want to attend the meeting. "I'm not walking into another ambush," she said, standing by the kitchen sink with her arms wrapped around herself. "You're not," I said. "You don't have to be there. Your mom will say I'm hiding behind you. Then she can be wrong." Lauren looked at me for a long second. I kept trying to be easy to accept. That broke something in me. "You shouldn't have had to audition," I said. The meeting happened the following Sunday at my parents' house. Same living room, same couch, same hallway. I left Lauren and Noah at home. Before I went inside, I sat in the car for a minute with the folder on the passenger seat, listening to my own breathing. I wasn't nervous because I thought I was wrong. I was nervous because I knew exactly how my family worked. Monica would cry. Mom would soften. Dad would get uncomfortable. Someone would ask me to apologize for my tone, my timing, my anger, my evidence, anything except what Monica had actually done. When I walked in, Monica was already there. She sat on the couch with red eyes and a blanket around her shoulders, like she had been rescued from something. Mom sat beside her. Dad stood near the fireplace, arms crossed. Monica looked at the folder in my hand and gave a bitter little laugh. "So your wife is hiding behind you now," I said. "Lauren isn't coming here to be cornered again." Monica's eyes filled instantly. "Cornered? I'm the one who has been attacked for having feelings." Mom said, "David, sit down." I sat in the chair across from them. I kept the folder on my lap. Dad said, we all agree things got out of hand. No, I said. We don't. Mom flinched. Can we please not start like this? Monica pressed a tissue under her eye. You're really going to destroy us over one bad night. I looked at her. Was it one bad night? Yes, she said. And I already said I was upset. You didn't apologize. She laughed. To Lauren? For what? Moving a bag. Mom said. Maybe everyone owes everyone an apology. There it was. The family fog machine. I opened the folder and placed it on the coffee table. If you still think this is about me being dramatic, I said, then read everything before you ask me to apologize. Monica's face changed. Just for a second. The tears paused. What is that? She asked. Proof. Mom looked between us. David. No, I said. You have asked me to be the bigger person my entire life. Today you can be quiet long enough to understand what you were asking me to carry. Dad's jaw tightened, but he didn't interrupt. I pulled out my phone first. This is from the hallway after Monica took Lauren's purse and Noah's bag. Monica sat up. You recorded me? I recorded myself asking where my wife's belongings were. That's disgusting. I pressed play. Her voice filled the room. I moved them because this family never finishes a real conversation. Every time Lauren gets uncomfortable, she runs and takes Noah with her. Then my voice. So you took her purse and his bag to stop us from leaving. Then Monica again. I put them in the spare room. Stop making it sound criminal. Mom went pale. Dad looked at Monica. Monica grabbed for anger because it was easier than shame. You edited that. I didn't argue. I let the recording keep going. Then her voice again, sharp and clear. Maybe now she'll learn she doesn't run this family. The room got so quiet I could hear the refrigerator humming from the kitchen. Dad said, Monica. She turned on him. Oh, come on. You were there. Yes, he said slowly. I was. Mom covered her mouth. I didn't realize how it sounded. I looked at her. It sounded the same in the hallway. Monica pointed at me. You came here to humiliate me. No, I said. You humiliated Lauren. I came here so you couldn't lie about it. Then I handed Mom the first stack of screenshots. She looked confused at first. Then she started reading. I watched her face move from defensive to uncertain to sick. Mom whispered, what is this? Messages Monica sent Lauren for months. Monica lunged forward. Those are private. I pulled the stack back before she could grab it. Privacy is not a shield for targeting my wife and kid. You're insane, Monica said. She showed you private conversations to turn you against me. I looked at her. You told my wife I wanted to leave her after Noah was born. Mom's head snapped up. What? Dad said, you said that. Monica's mouth opened, then closed. I read it out loud, not dramatically. Just enough. David was overwhelmed after Noah was born. He needed space. Don't act like your marriage has always been perfect. Monica crossed her arms. That's not the same thing. Lauren had printed the worst one for me separately. I lifted it. You told her I didn't leave because I didn't want to look bad. Mom stared at Monica. Why would you say that? Monica's voice rose. Because he did struggle. Everyone knows he struggled. I was trying to help her understand him. No, I said. You were trying to make my wife feel unstable in her own marriage. Dad reached for the screenshots. Let me see. I handed him the next stack. Those are the messages where she told Lauren you were tired of her rules and that she shouldn't bring Noah around if she was going to act controlling. Mom's eyes filled again, but this time the tears didn't make me move toward her. I never said that, Mom whispered. I know, I said. Lauren didn't. Then I handed Dad the group chat prints. And these are from the same days, when Monica told you we were keeping Noah away from you. Dad flipped through the pages. His face hardened as the dates lined up. I said, she told my wife not to bring my son here, then told you Lauren was withholding him. Monica stood up. I was trying to explain both sides. You created both sides, I said. Mom turned toward Monica slowly. Did you tell Lauren we didn't want her here? Monica's eyes darted. I said people were tired. Because people were tired. Who? I asked. She glared at me. Who, Monica? She threw her hands up. Me. Fine. I was tired. I was tired of everything being about Lauren and Noah and schedules and snacks, and David suddenly acting like we're all dangerous. There it was. Not all of it, but enough. Mom said, Noah is 4. Monica snapped. And somehow he runs this family. No one spoke. The words hung there, ugly and honest. Dad sat down in the other chair like his knees had gotten tired. I reached for the last section of the folder. And since we're finally being honest, we're going to talk about money. Monica froze. That has nothing to do with Lauren. It has everything to do with the way you manipulate people. Dad looked wary. David, what money? I handed him the printed texts first. Not the statements, because I didn't have those. Just Monica's own words. They'll never cut me off. Mom would feel too guilty. Dad complains, but he always pays it. David thinks saying no makes him strong. Cute. Dad read them once. Then again. Mom leaned over and saw them too. Monica's face went red. So now you're digging through everything I've ever said? You sent some of that to me, I said. And some of it was sent to Lauren while you were telling her she didn't know her place. Dad's voice was low. What did you mean? I always pay it. Monica looked away. It was a joke. Dad didn't blink. What did you mean? Mom said softly. Richard. No, he said, sharper than I had heard him in years. I want to know. Monica started crying again. I can't believe you're all doing this to me. I said, you didn't need help, Monica. You needed nobody to check the bill. Dad stood up and walked to the small desk near the dining room. He pulled open a drawer, took out his laptop, and opened it without saying anything. Mom watched him like she wanted to stop him, but knew she couldn't. Monica said, Dad, seriously? He didn't answer. The room was silent except for his typing. He had access to the statements. I didn't know what he was seeing, but I knew the moment he saw enough. His shoulders dropped first. Then his mouth tightened. What are these charges? He asked. Monica wiped her face. What charges? He turned the laptop slightly toward Mom. These. Mom leaned in. Dad said, you told us the card was for groceries and gas. It was mostly groceries and gas. Mostly. Monica's voice got smaller. I needed some things. Dad scrolled. These are not family expenses. Monica snapped. I am family. That hit the room in a strange way, because it was exactly what she believed. Family meant she could take, and anyone who questioned her was cruel. Dad closed the laptop halfway and looked at her. We're done funding this. Monica stared at him. What? The card gets canceled today? The monthly transfers stop. You're giving us back the spare key. If you need help, you can bring a bill and we'll decide. But we're not paying blindly anymore. Mom looked shaken, but she didn't argue. Monica turned to her. Mom. Mom started crying again. I didn't realize it had gone this far. Monica made a sound like a laugh and a sob together. So you're choosing him? Dad said no. We're choosing to stop being lied to. I sat there, not relieved exactly. Relief felt too clean. What I felt was the dull ache of realizing how many years it had taken for everyone to see what had always been right in front of us. Monica turned on me next. You ruined me, she said. I shook my head. No, I stopped helping you hide. She pointed at the folder. This is sick. Printing things. Recording me. Bringing money into it. You wanted revenge. I wanted my wife left alone, I said. I wanted my son's bag not locked in a room. You made the rest relevant when you used everyone's guilt like a leash. Mom whispered, David, maybe we should all take a break. No, I said. I'm going to say what I came to say, and then I'll leave. I turned to both of my parents. You can see Noah, but there are rules now. No unplanned visits. No messages to Lauren from Monica. No contact with Noah through Monica. No adult conflict around him. No comments about Lauren's parenting, his schedule, his food, his bedtime, or our marriage. If you have a concern, you come to me directly and respectfully. Mom nodded quickly, tears on her cheeks. Dad said, that's fair. Monica scoffed. Oh, good. The custody agreement for grandparents. I looked at her. You don't get contact with my family unless Lauren receives a direct apology and chooses to accept it. Not a group text. Not a vague, sorry you felt hurt. A real apology. Even then, it doesn't guarantee access. It only opens the door to a conversation. Monica's mouth twisted. She'll never accept it. Then that's your answer. Mom looked at me like she wanted to ask me to soften it. For once, she didn't. I gathered the folder, but Dad put a hand on it. Leave copies, he said. Monica stared at him like he had slapped her. I left the copies. When I got home, Lauren was sitting on the couch with Noah asleep against her side. The TV was on low, some cartoon paused mid-scene. She looked up the second I walked in. How bad was it? She asked. Bad, I said, but honest. She closed her eyes. I sat beside her and told her what happened. Not every word. Not the parts that would only hurt her again. But I told her Monica had been exposed, that my parents had seen the messages, that Dad canceled the card, that Monica had to apologize before any contact, and that the rules were no longer optional. Lauren listened quietly. When I finished, she touched Noah's hair and said, "Do you regret it?" I thought about that for a while. "I regret waiting," I said. Monica did not apologize, at least not in any way that counted. 2 days later, she sent me a text. "Monica, I hope humiliating me was worth it." I replied once, "David, do not contact Lauren. Any apology goes through me first. Anything else will be ignored." She responded immediately, "Monica, wow, so she really does control you." I didn't answer. Mom tried to call me 3 times that week. I answered the 3rd time. She sounded small. "I keep reading the messages," she said. "Good. I'm ashamed." I didn't rush to comfort her. That was new for me. She said, "I thought I was keeping the family together." "You were keeping Monica comfortable," I said. She cried quietly. "I know. Dad called separately. His apology was awkward because Dad was awkward with emotion. I should have opened the door the second I knew," he said. "Yes," I said. He cleared his throat. "I'm sorry. I accepted that, but I didn't erase anything because of it." For the next month, visits with my parents happened at our place or in public. Short visits, clear start and end times. If Mom made even a soft comment about how sad Monica was, I ended the conversation. The first time I did it, Mom looked startled. I said, "You can be grandparents, but you don't get to use my son to avoid accountability." She nodded and didn't bring it up again that day. Some relatives heard Monica's version before they heard mine. Of course they did. I got a few messages from cousins saying things like, "Couldn't this have been handled privately?" And "Your sister is struggling, but cutting her off financially seems extreme." I didn't send the whole folder around. I wasn't trying to turn the extended family into a jury. But if someone came at me directly, I gave them one sentence. Monica locked away Lauren's purse and Noah's medical bag to force an apology, and the money stopped because my parents saw how she had been lying to them. Most people didn't know what to say after that. One cousin told me, "That's still your sister." I said, "Lauren is my wife. Noah is my son." That ended the call. The strangest part was how quiet my life became once I stopped volunteering to absorb chaos. There were no late-night essays in the family group chat because I muted it. No pressure to explain Lauren's boundaries because I stopped treating them like debate topics. No long phone calls where Mom cried, and I tried to make her feel better about a problem she refused to confront. Noah still asked about Grandma and Grandpa. He didn't ask about Monica. That told me more than I expected. Lauren took longer to relax. For weeks, she checked her phone whenever it buzzed with that same tight look on her face. One night, I found her in the laundry room, sitting on top of the dryer while it ran, staring at nothing. I asked, "Did Monica message you?" She shook her head. "No, I just keep thinking I should have told you sooner." I stood in the doorway. "I keep thinking I should have made it safer for you to tell me." She looked at me then, and for the first time in a while, she didn't try to protect my feelings from the truth. "You always wanted things to be okay," she said. "I know. And sometimes that meant pretending I was okay. That one hurt because it was fair." I said, "I'm done doing that." She nodded, not like everything was fixed, but like she believed I meant it. My parents are still not magically perfect. Mom still has moments where I can hear the old habit in her voice, that soft panic when Monica is upset and she wants someone else to absorb it. Dad still prefers practical fixes over emotional accountability. But they are learning that access to Noah is not guaranteed by biology. It depends on behavior. Monica is still angry. Last I heard, she told people I financially abused her by convincing our parents to stop helping. That would be funny if it weren't so exhausting. I didn't control their money. I showed them what she had been saying while spending it. Maybe I did embarrass her. I'm not going to pretend I didn't know the folder would land hard. I knew the recording would change the room. I knew the messages would make my parents look at her differently. I knew the money texts would hit Dad where denial had been living for years. But Monica was comfortable humiliating Lauren when she thought there would never be proof. She was comfortable making my wife feel unwanted in the family. She was comfortable using my son as leverage. She was comfortable locking away things that did not belong to her and calling it a conversation. For most of my life, my family called me the stable one like it was a compliment. What they meant was that I was supposed to stay steady while Monica pushed, pulled, cried, demanded, and took. Now I am stable in a way they don't like as much. Stable means my wife does not have to earn basic respect from people who mistreat her. Stable means my son's needs are not bargaining chips. Stable means my parents can be in our lives only if they stop treating Monica's feelings as more important than everyone else's safety. So when people say I went too far by exposing all of it, I keep coming back to the same thing. Was it really harsher to show the receipts? Or was it harsher to expect my wife and child to keep paying for Monica's lies? If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.